Chapter 51. The news of Enigma's defeat was sent out around 6 days after the actual fight. As the world government had the World News Agency under control, they had full authority to do so. By doing this, not only did they tell the story the way they wanted to, but also used the extra days to capture as many of the pirates before other stronger ones came to recruit the freed 40,000 or so criminals. One day after the news. Damien Pav. Right. That's it, Katakuri. Now breathe, not with your lungs, but with your mind. I said, though I was pretty much making things up by now. This kid's talent was really good in the color of observation, but it didn't mean he can just become a future seer like that. First, he had to awaken the sixth sense. And so he did. It took nearly the entire week, but he did. Just like that, one of the youngest hockey users out there for sure. His desire to protect his family was something even I could admire. His heart was strong. If not for his unwavering loyalty towards his mother, I may have recruited him right away. Sensei, how do I improve once our training has ended? He asked. How many times have I told you to call me by my name? I feel old being called. Sensei, I'm not even 16 yet. I complained. Well, just to the exercise I told you, once you can sense your surroundings to that point, then you can start training for advanced observation. Your sister with the mirror fruit would be the perfect help for you, so just ask her. Katakuri thought over my words and nodded. Thank you, Sensei, I hope to fight you someday. Rahahaha. Well, good luck, cause I'm not gonna stop growing in strength. Take care of your siblings and stay strong, kid. I slapped his shoulder and walked out of the training area. It was time to leave. We're almost here, Linlin, I yelled as I was too lazy to find her over this huge ship. Ma. Maybe this time Zebek will give me a child. She muttered the last part but seemed ready either way. Oye. You old hag. Fight me again. A youthful roar resounded the ship. It was a bruised and beaten Kaido as he walked towards us without a care for his injuries. You again, brat. You just don't know when to give up. She said with slight annoyance. She did call Kaido a brat in the manga, so yeah. Wororo. I get stronger every fight. That Damien pulled ahead, but I'll beat him up soon enough. Rahaha. Kaido, we haven't dueled in a while now, maybe it's time I show you why I have a higher bounty. I mocked the ogre. Come at me. Kaido roared as his haki shot up, making Big Mom's kids shudder. Mama. There's a huge ship on the horizon. A kid yelled as he held a telescope. I looked over and saw it. The huge silhouette of the grand ship of the Rock's crew. Linline's ship was quite damn big, but compared to the Titanic, well, it was still far off. Ma. That guy always loved putting his name on things. She commented as the foresail of the ship was visible. ROCKS. It started with a flaming skull in substitute for the O. 20 minutes later. We finally slowed it down so that the ships were parallel. I spun my haki over and saw our pirates ready to fight. After all, they were still in the dark about Big Mom's status with Zebek. I could care less about a reunion between two crazy people, so I just jump over. Thud. I slammed onto the Titanic as I inhaled the air of blood, sweat and tears. Heck, there was a rotting smell as well as I saw a corpse lying to the side. The pirates originally were about to attack but calmed down as they recognized me. Though I was kinda annoyed by this smell. You pricks. One of you, get rid of that rotting corpse. I said with a tch. They heard the irritation and got right to it, too. Pushed the body into the sea while another two mopped his blood and other fluids. Xahahaha. You did well, brat. Zebek's voice boomed over the ship as I saw the crazy man after a while. With my recent advancement in observation, I could sense his strength a bit more clearly now. This guy is an absolute monster. I gulped as I saw him. He was just standing there, menacingly. Tycho, you look as energetic as always. I commented as I saw his relaxed posture. There's a crazy chick here to meet you. I guess you are already acquainted, so I'll let you take over. He nodded. Linlin A. Zahaha. I haven't seen her in a while now. Ma. Zebek, you have gotten closer to your goal to rule the world. But now I think we have some things to talk over. She said, not showing any fear in front of the predator that is the captain. I just shook my head and walked away, I was wanting to lay on my bed since most of the beds on Big Mom's ship were edible and too fluffy for my taste. Though I made sure to greet the other old friends as well. Gururara, you've gotten stronger, kid, Whitebeard said with a smile. You foo, I didn't expect you to polish your hockey off an overlord. Good job, you made your big sister proud. Shaki gave me a thumbs up in her usual wink. Rahaha, well you guys helped quite a lot in my training. I'll pay you back the favor in the future. I was quite indebted to them. Shaki was like an older sister who spent hours upon hours in my training for observation hockey. Whitebeard also spent quite a few days helping me with my fruit and understanding its power. 2 days later. Boom. What now? I mumble as I wake up from my sleep to a rather large bang. I span my hockey and sense a battle occurring in the above fighting arena. I guess even blood ore can't wholly absorb shockwaves from these guys. I sigh as I freshen up and go check it out. Gurara. Zebek, that sword is truly messed up. A loud voice blasted my ears. I saw 2 men in the air. One had wild red hair with a feral grin while the other had glorious blonde hair dancing in the wind. Xahahaha. Good. Again. Zebek laughed as he cracked his shoulders. I look around and see barely anyone. I span my observation and see our ships alongside Linline's ship a kilometer away. I could feel a sliver of emotion from them. They all had fear and astonishment radiating off them, well most of them. I guess the fodders finally saw a glimpse of the power of top fighters, even if they haven't actually reached their peak. Understanding what was going on, I look over and see a group of people chilling near the front end of the ship. Kaido was drinking while crying about not being able to join the fight. Shiki was just smirking as he polished his swords. Big Mom was eating cake while Katakuri, Paraspero and Oven sat beside her, breathing heavily as they felt the shockwaves from the clash above. Shaki had a swimsuit on as she casually laid on a chair, suntanning. Indra was squinting at the fight as he was trying to understand the power in the swings of the 2 monsters. Zebek is testing his sword. I ask as I plop onto the table next to Kaido. Jihahaha, I want to fight that crazy guy but Newgate drew the straw, tch, Shiki complained. I then looked over and concentrated. This was a duel between monsters and a great clash to witness. The platform of duels. Zebek had his Mokashiroku drawn as it sat comfortably in his left hand. It was a black blade so just being drawn was causing the air to slice. There was also a red glow as the surrounding air was steaming and boiling away, credit to the molten aspect, I suppose. Whitebeard was holding a large naginata in both hands, the blade was black as it shined. Zebek grinned as he and Whitebeard rushed forth. Right before their clash, I saw another type of energy. A red bubble flowed out of their arms and into the blade as it coated it in a fluid-like aspect. I squinted my eyes as I saw it and knew what it was right away. This is the advanced application of armament hockey. The stage of emission. I exclaimed. The 2 blades collided. Boom. Baam. A huge shockwave blew out in all but one direction as it caused the large waves of water to generate beside the Titanic. The energy released was so absurdly powerful as the sky was obliterated as the non-blood ore parts were broken and reduced to dust. The shockwave reached us as I felt the incredible blow of air and energy, it was mind-numbing. As for the others, Indra was gritting his teeth as he tried to stay in place yet started to lose his balance. Kaido was just laughing as he was trying his holding his ground. Linlin used a thundercloud homie to protect her 3 children who were still here, not feeling too much of the impact. Tch, why did they have to infuse Haoshoku to everything? Shaki yelled in irritation, it seems her drink and umbrella were blown into the sea from their fight. I guess even though her strength was no longer above me, she was still used to such fights as she has been with Zebek and Whitebeard the longest. That aside, the clash. The blades were still about 15 centimeters apart as the armament hockey was the part clashing, yet slivers of conquerors were mixed in as well causing black lightning to spark all over. This is what I need to reach the lowest of the Yonko levels. I muttered in my head. The only thing missing from my strength was Ryu in my attacks. Big Mom has crazy endurance. She is a steel balloon who can tank a lot of damage even without hockey. I would need emission to even fight with her, and that excluded her fruit powers. As for infusing Conqueror's hockey, that will most likely come into play later on. Boom. The attacks lost their strength as they finally touched. The energy releases finally calmed down. Gururara, Zebek, your sword mastery is still too low to fully release your powers, Whitebeard commented as he twirled his glaive for the next hit. Zahaha. He laughed in response as he too backed up a few meters. Zebek's sword now has another energy around it, a very deadly one, no pun intended. His death powers were boiling out of the blade as the nearby air withered away and caused the void to fill in. Whitebeard saw the danger as he aptly responded. FWOO. A white bubble formed around his naginata as the air was broken apart around it. He used his tremor fruit on his glaive. This will be loud. I gulp as I see them rush forth with no sense of care for their surroundings. The withering black sword obliterated the atmosphere as it spun forth and met the glaive with the power of a natural disaster behind it. Boom. BAAAAAAAM. A grand explosion resounded as the shockwaves with enough power to destroy an island were sent out in all directions but one. The clash was quite spectacular to see. I saw two bubbles of sorts form around the two monsters. A black one around Zebek. My ancient voice could not perceive any sound from it as even the sound waves were destroyed. The other was a serene white with a green tint that seemed to shatter away all forms of matter. The clash of these two powers was absurd. Boom. Another explosion sent out a respective shockwave. This time the waves generated were over 100 meters high. The fleet that was a kilometer away had already begun to retreat further as they saw the impending doom, yet they were too slow. At this rate, all our ships would be reduced to nothing but scraps. Boys, Shaki said as she saw the waves. Rush out. On it. I said as I shaved to the left side of the ship. I disappeared from my comfortable seat and flashed to the railing on the side within a second. I was about 200 meters away from the tsunami. Phew. I sent out a decent amount of crushing energy to obliterate the force behind the wave of water. It was a simple attack but had the power to destroy marine warships. Splash. As expected, the huge wave was blasted to pieces as cubes of blue rained down all over. Kaido went to the right side alongside Andor. He sent out a large airburst of energy from his club as it slammed onto the tidal wave while Silver Axe sliced the other half. Sigh. These guys never care for what happens around them. I shake my head with a wry smile. If not for our intervention, those waves would have wiped out at least 80% of the fleet. XAHAHAHAHA. GURARARARA. The two laughed. It seemed that it was a draw. Not really though. Zebek had only started to use his sword and it seems like trying to add death to a weapon was a lot harder than it seemed. Due to that, his total strength output was something Whitebeard could deal with, though with difficulty. Shaki was grumbling about her lost dishes and the others were either drinking or laughing it off. Zebek, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Shaki. Excluding the others, just these four are enough to go against Marineford right now. And once the younger ones grow, the Rocks pirates only grow to an absurd height. Surely the Gorosei have noticed as well. As for Big Mom, when did she join? 1.5 days ago. Everyone listen up. From now on, Charlotte Linlin will join us in advance. Her children and subordinates will come under my flag. Get along now, zahahaha. Back to the present. Well, that was my humble captain's speech a day and a half ago. The pirates below who heard it were dumbfounded. They were prepared to fight a war but the evil spirit is now a part of them. They were jovial. A thick and sexy new division commander. Who wouldn't like seeing her walk around in her skimpy clothes? After all, much of Rock's fleet was a bunch of crazy and messed up grown men with very few women. Yet the smarter ones were afraid. They heard of Linline's food crazes and now had to look out for another walking calamity. They even made a list of instants to stay as far away from at all times. List of avoidance. 1. Zebek. 2. Pissed off Shaki and Whitebeard. 3. A hungry Big Mom. 4. Shaki when cooking. 5. A drunk Kaido. 6. Me when my eyes glowed red. I understood everything from 1 to 5. But number 6. What the hell were they on about? When did I become such a frightening creature? I am a man of peace and culture. I even interrogated a fodder regarding this list. Things enclosed with flashback conversations. Oye, what about my glowing eyes? I ask him as I grab him by the throat and lift him 3 feet off the ground. The man gulped as he saw me. He was already shaking in fear. Damien Sama. He stuttered as I grew annoyed. Spit it out before I wrong you like a towel. I told him to hasten his explanation. Though it seemed to make him shiver even more. Drip drip drip. I looked down and saw some yellow liquid drip down the side of his pants. How uncivilized, I said in disgust as I threw him into the sea off the railing of the ship. Ah! Splash. I looked around and saw a few pirates running away. Run away. Damien Sama's eyes are glowing again. One cried as they dispersed like a bunch of headless chickens. I watched as I saw them. My eyes don't glow. I yelled back, too lazy to hunt another down. Shaki later told me that in my wanted posters and my first introduction, when I popped that pirate like a grape, it seemed as if my eyes were shining red or something. I resent that. I have always been a man of peace at heart, crushing a few people into dust here and there, but a nice guy overall. So yeah, a new addition to the Rocks fleet. 1st Division Commander, Edward Newgate. 2nd Division Commander, Shaki. 3rd Division Commander, Charlotte Linlin. 4th Division Commander, Shikuyaku. 5th Division Commander, Ina D. Damien. 6th Division Commander, Kaido. 7th Division Commander, Silver Axe. 8th Division Commander, Vacant. 9th Division Commander, Vacant. The addition of the Big Mom pirates brought in more members as well. Excluding her children and soul-powered soldiers, she also had 1,000 or so subordinates with her. D3 now became the second largest division with around 1,100 pirates. Aside from all that, I had finally decided on something. I got up and walked over to Zebek who was drinking away. Hey, Captain. Chapter 52. Hey, Captain. I addressed the man who was busy drinking. What is, brat? He said as he wiped his mouth with his sleeve. I plan on leaving the crew for a while, I said. Zebek raised an eyebrow with curiosity. Oh. And what will you **Gurug** do? He asked with a smirk. I want to train my hockey and my fruit, and also take care of a few other personal things. Quote. All right, brat. He took another big gulp of sake. Why not train your hockey here, kid? Whitebeard asked as he sat down nearby, no sweat at all from the earlier clash. I shook my head with a sigh. When I fought Enigma, and now that I have seen your battle, I realized that I only beat the Overlord because of my luck in evolving my hockey at the perfect time, I said. I then sat down and squinted my eyes and looked into the distance. I have great talent in the color of observation and the Supreme King, but my color of arms requires more than that. Without flowing hockey, I can never reach the next level. Whitebeard nodded as he heard my words. I learned it from fighting a powerful mythical zone fruit user who had very thick skin. Gurara. We fought for 4 days, my earthquakes weren't enough, but once I learned to make my hockey flow, I won almost instantly. Newgate said. Xahahaha. We don't have any powerful Zoans. Unlike Kaido who has good talent in the color of arms, you would need a stronger push to reach the next level, Where will you go, brat? He asked with an inquisitive gleam. I intend to sail to the country of Wano. The home of the sword god. I wish to learn under their techniques of armament, I said with a smirk. Unlike Luffy who was lucky to always conveniently gain a certain power-up as he journeys, I instead have to take the initiative myself. Naturally, Wano is not the only option, but I feel like I could also get some other things I need from there, so it would be quite convenient. Wano Kuni, Gurara. Good choice, but you should know that that place is not good with outsiders. He warned. I smiled at his words. Hee, I have my ways to get around. You needn't worry, Newgate Awesome. He simply nodded and trusted my words. Zebek squinted with a dangerous light as he seemed to think of some schemes. Alright kid, you can go. You're lucky that you asked at a perfect time. I also need to go under the radar soon. He said. His words brought curiosity into my eyes as I asked, a crazy captain like you wants to go under the radar. Is it your death powers? Xahahaha. That's right, brat. While you were playing with that mind guy, I had Shaki looking for an island for me. Now go away and let me drink. He shooed me off as he disappeared. Yufufufu, I'm sad you are leaving again, Damien-chan, Shaki said as she brought some snacks. I nodded in gratitude and then asked. What island did you find? For him. Taiko asked me to find a terrible island and I found one. It's called Death Valley, found in the weeping waters of the dead. It was thought to be a myth like the Florian Triangle and the Azkaban Sea. They say the spirits of the dead gather on the island of Death Valley, and wallow in everlasting despair, how poetic. She said with a smile as she puffed some smoke. It's also one of the Trinity of Valleys. Isle of Deities, God Valley. Isle of Spirits, Death Valley. Isle of Disasters, Extinction Valley. But after a few searches and some greedy fools sent out, I finally found it in the New World. It is within a forever spinning hurricane far east from here, that is where we are headed. Puff. She continued to smoke as Whitebeard spoke up. Shaki will send the ship to the clouds, the rest will scatter around doing whatever. Zebek alone will go to that island to awaken his fruit. Which is why your little vacation is quite perfect. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. I nodded. That's perfect, but how long will he be there for? I asked them. Jihahaha. Knowing that man, he could be gone a few months or a few years. Shaki said as he finished sharpening his two swords and took out his cigarette. I furrowed my brows and thought for a second. Well, I will be gone for 18 to 20 months, maybe a bit less. How long is the journey to the island? Shaki thought for a second. The hurricane is difficult to navigate to as it is always moving, it should take around 3 weeks to get there. It's currently the 11th month of 1483. If I leave once the crew splits, I will be back around mid-1485, which should be fine. I calculated. 5 days later. I still don't get why you chose my division, I commented as I saw the kid sitting before me. Mama doesn't have anyone who has great observation. I feel like I can reach a higher level, but I need guidance, the boy said. Katakuri came knocking on my door a few days ago. Instead of Big Mom's 3rd division, he wanted to come under me instead. I sighed. Kid, it's not that I don't like you, but I only keep the sharpest swords under my division. I only have 9 men right now. I had sent out Indra to seek some other pirates who were still decent, and had a strong will. There weren't many, but I did get some. The 7 days I trained you were for the food your mother gave me. So what do I gain from wasting my time on you? I asked him, wondering how he would answer. He was taken aback a bit. I don't know why. After all, I am a pirate. When I get stronger, I will owe you a favor. He said with a bright light in his eyes. I raised an eyebrow and gazed at him. He had a flurry of emotions, nervousness, excitement, hopefulness, optimism. It was a bit ridiculous for a 7-year-old to go around offering favors, but I actually knew his future strengths, so it was worth a thought. Katakuri was waiting patiently, perhaps thinking I would reject him as his optimism flared down a bit. Rahahaha. You're just a little kid right now, and here you are offering favors like they're worth anything. What will I do if you end up weak or pathetic in a few years? How will you pay your debt then? I asked him. He took a gulp and responded, then you can take my life for it. The second born of someone like Mama is worth a lot in the black market. Rahahaha. Very well, kid. I will teach you, but only in the color of observation. 5 days later. A bruised and beaten up Katakuri sat in the center of the platform. I had some of my new division mates train the boy. Pascal, a 35-year-old man who likes wearing white, was currently training Katakuri. You can barely even see, and you want the commander to teach you. Pasasasa, how bold of you. Pascal said as he shot some rounds in the young boy's direction. Katakuri was blindfolded, trying his best to dodge while getting hit with the occasional attack. 5 days later. 15 days have passed since we set sail to Dead Valley. Another 6 or so days till we reach our destination, and when I set off to my own devices. What was I doing right now? Beat him up, Commander. Put the ogre to sleep, boss. Give him a fast right. Crush him. Boom. A black club collided with a dark crimson fist as pulses of shock were sent out. The spectators were roaring in excitement as they saw the display before them. Kaido and I were having our duel after a long time. Worororo. Rahahaha. Kaido was swinging his club at a very fast pace as I countered with simple punches. Every little clash lasted half a second as another followed. Sparks lit off as metal hit metal, lighting the air in the process. We were warming up. Hehe, you've fallen behind, Kaido. I uncoat my fist as I then aimed to piss him off. A red field pops in my mind as I see, beyond. My future sight had increased a lot. I could now see 4 seconds into the future, more than enough. Kaido was still swinging, yet every attack seemed to miss by a bit while I danced through his movements. Che. He gritted his teeth as he went on with his hits. Increasing strength won't do you any good if you can't actually hit me, I smirked. I concentrated my vision to the max and saw his movements, the gaps, the openings, the flaws, and capitalized. His next move was a diagonal smash for which I sidestepped and flashed near his abdomen, weaving through all future actions and obstructions. I clench my fist as it shines a polished black and drives it forth. Bam! Pua! A quick and powerful liver jab, yet it looked as if it was damaging him from the inside as he groaned in pain as he spat large volumes of air out. It wasn't emission, it was mimicking emission instead. I used my pulverizing energy as a substitute to Ruo as it flowed out of my fist and into his body, breaking it from the inside. Kaido took 2 steps back as he covered his stomach and grit his teeth in frustration. Face it, Kaido. You are no longer my match. I rub it in as I continue my attack. Don't play with me. He roared as a black aura burst out of him and sparked around his club. He was throwing his conquerors without care, the people around us struggling to stay on. Is this enlightenment through anger? I thought as I felt his haki increase in control. Raimei hake. Devoured space. His club carried sparks of thunder as it slammed onto my diamond-shaped shield, a loud explosion following suit. Boom. Assail. The defensive barrier shuddered as I willed it to shoot forward, pushing the giant youth with it. Ah. He groaned. His skin was touching the barrier as it was eating away at his endurance, yet failing to break through, leaving red marks all over. Seeing his loss of balance, I shoot ahead. My fist was clad in haki as I collected some crushing energy into my knuckles to act as emission. Boom. Bam. Bop. Chest, lung, gut, liver, pancreas, kneecaps. Tens of small explosions as I rained down punches onto his body, causing him to blow up from within. Ah. He yelled as his chest was now littered with reddish-purple bruises, signifying internal bleeding. He coughed out some blood as he tried to stay standing, shaking as the waves of pain echoed throughout. This will end it. I zoomed across the field and shot up into the sky at his eye level. Kaido was still stunned from the constant hits, his body was weakening. I clench my left fist as it is wrapped with a black shine as a red glow emerges near the top of it. BAAAM. I clock him straight on his face, Ripple of force pulsed around my head as his face warped in stress, sending in a huge mist of pulverizing energy that diffused into his cheek and flooded his brain. His face popped to the side from the impact as he was sent flying across the platform into a flurry of rolls as he boomed to a stop. Thud. A final thud as his club landed on the other side as a bruised Kaido spat out blood, his face was now purple. Ah, that hurts. He groaned as he sat up holding his face in pain. His eyes were half open and his mind was half awake. Rahaha. How did that punch taste? I asked as I shot him a smug grin as I blew on my fist and wiped it clean. Che. I'll beat you, soon. He said as he waddled onto his feet in annoyance and breathed deeply. If it's one-on-one, Kaido will win. Well, that isn't a fact yet as I just gave him one of his 7 losses. 4 days later. It's been a few days since I beat the future King of Beasts, though it didn't mean much as he didn't eat his fruit yet and hasn't learned emission nor infusion, it was still satisfying to punch him like a ragdoll. Another thing that happened was that I challenged Shiki and Big Mom. Yeah, I knew I would lose. But it was worth a shot. They didn't exactly hold back either. Shiki used one sword as he could literally fly around and easily predict my moves. One tap is all it took for him to defeat me as he gained control over my movements. A high-tier Yonko was too much. I realized that I would need more fruit mastery to destroy his telekinetic control over me as he is awakened. Only then can I stand up to him. Just like Odin got one-shotted by Roger, Damien had the same result against Shiki. Big Mom. She used her homie, Napoleon, to clash with my fists. It was a long fight as she didn't really go all out till the end. Every slash was heavy and carried powerful haki as it left my fist shaking. I could hold back most of her hits. She also used her fire and thunder homie, Prometheus and Zeus, yet I could stand tall against them. The only problem was that I could not damage her at all. Her skin was so damn hard. My punches left white marks. My pulverizing emission technique was not enough as it would bounce off her haki. It was a useless struggle. She was peak low tier Yonko, which was only one sub-level above me, but more than enough to defeat me with multiple usages of Heavenly Fire and Thunderbolt attacks. It was an eye-opener, but I knew I could reach her level by my return, which helped me understand more of what was ahead. 2 days later, Katakuri had reached near constant observation, which was mid-basic. His sight was around 8 meters in all directions, but his body was too slow to even keep up with his observation. That aside, I still gained a favor from the man who could reach Yonko level in the future for just 3 weeks of guidance, not bad. I left him a bonus body training manual so that he doesn't focus too much on his fruit and neglect the foundation of his power. Indra, Pascal, Bozo, Juni, Thane, Bazoon, Heath, Obazoba, Pablo. I addressed the 9 men. Newgate Austin will lead you while I'm out of commission. He's a nice guy, just don't piss him off. I informed them. Very well. We look forward to your return, Commander. Hi, Roger. Whatever, ya say, boss. Okay. HN. We, see, Patron. A mix of replies as they all had their own quirks. They were cold-hearted killers but had their own lines they would not cross, a nice bunch, for the most part. A little summary of what happened over the 3 weeks. Kicked Kato's ass. Fought Shiki, lost badly. Fought Big Mom, held for a while but lost due to limited hockey. Killed 20 or so nuisances who got in my way when they were drunk. Fed some of them to some carnivorous piranha-like fish. Another 140 died from little quarrels that escalated a bit too much. Got used to the new fruit mastery and hockey mastery. Thought of a new form of fruit release that requires more experimenting. Found News World Agency HQ. That was about it, but that last point was huge. After nearly 15 months of scouring over the world, a bird finally alerted me of the discovery of the HQ. It seems like it was a well-hidden base mounted in a giant mountain while constantly under wraps by a cipher pull unit within Paradise. The birds found it and the Sea Kings confirmed it. Operation Nexus has been updated. Find the World News Agency main base check mark. Find replacement president check mark. Bring the replacement under your control cross mark. Have the agency exit the world government's grasp cross mark. Time limit 1486. With the first 2 complete, I could start the next parts, which were my goals during my little vacation. That aside, it was time to leave. See you soon, everyone. I bid farewell to Shaki, Whitebeard, Andor, Kaido, and the rest as I jumped into the water below. Splash. A little bop in the sea as I stood on the boat. It was something I swiped from the store for 700 SP. It was without any power to move it, but I only wanted a comfy seat. So I had a few Sea Kings pull it under the water to move at quick speeds while looking cool. Jimmy, take me to Paradise Sea. Chapter 53. The Sea Skimmer, New World Sea. Jimmy, my right-hand Sea King, was reporting the latest locations of a few things I had asked him to keep under surveillance. Great 1, the young bird child is still at Nea under the protection of the Amphibian Division. The one who ate the colorful fruit is always followed by the Falcon Division. And the Hawk Division is keeping watch of the news agency in Paradise. He concluded. Very good. I nodded. The island of Nea was in the North Blue, the route I am currently following, yet it will take a while. Even with a few Sea Kings pulling the ship, it will take around a week. With that said, I can do something else in the process. Sybil, I think it's about time I upgrade my abilities, bring out all my completed quests. I told her. Here they are. Quest log. Reach Yonko Commander. Rewards. 7000 SP claimed. Reach mid-tier Yonko Commander. Rewards. 8200 SP completed. Reach high-tier Yonko Commander. Rewards. 9500 SP completed. Reach top-tier Yonko Commander. Rewards. 10900 SP completed. Reach the peak of the Yonko Commander phase. Rewards. Underwater maneuverability skill completed. Reach Quasi-Yonko. Rewards. 12400 SP completed. Reach intermediate mastery over your hockey. Rewards. 5000 SP completed. Reach intermediate mastery over your fruit. Rewards. 7500 SP, Seastone Generator completed. Well damn. Claim them, I said in my head. 7 quests complete. Rewards. 53500 SP, Underwater Maneuverability Skill, Seastone Generator. Your SP balance has been updated to 88,100 SP, a mechanical voice alerted me, much to my satisfaction. A Seastone Generator has been moved to your inventory. Seastone Generator Produces 1 cubic centimeter of sea stone for every gallon of seawater at a rate of 5 cubes per day. I felt no real change from the new skill, so I decided to test it out. I was sailing in the sea after all. Splash. I dived into the sea without hesitation. Jimmy would save me in case something went wrong. The first thing I felt was a chain. As if a part of me was now shackled down to oblivion. Due to the curse of the sea being activated, your fruit powers have been locked. I nodded at the words. It made sense. Of course, I felt the missing power, as if a part of me was sealed, but that was it. I didn't feel any weakness or nausea, courtesy to my fishman bloodline, for one, as my gills appeared on my neck. The feeling of breathing from your throat was quite odd, but at the same time, natural. Before, I could breathe in the sea, but not be able to move in any shape or form. Just like Jack when he was thrown below by Zunisha. Now with the underwater maneuverability, that problem is no longer one to worry about. I could swim, breathe and maneuver in the sea, though I could not use any fruit powers. Heck, I was swimming as fast as a fishman could. Hockey was still possible, so it was actually quite amazing. PSSHHH. I jumped back on the boat as I glowed a warm red as water stuck on my hair and face was obliterated, the rest of the body was already dry due to my clothes enchantment. I nodded in satisfaction. Now, no matter what happens, I can always escape a troublesome situation by swimming away and no one could ever expect it. Bring up the store. I asked as I sat back in my comfy seat. Hi. System store. Skills available to purchase. 1. Grand imagination helps you mold your fruit powers into certain shapes. The more complicated the shape, the more concentration is required. Cost. 2000 SP. 2. Parallel thinking allows you to split your thinking paths. You can also send your conscience to another body with this skill. Cost. 1000 SP. 3. Passive sleep mode allows you to gain the same amount of rest you gain during sleep while you are in a state of meditating. Cost. 1500 SP. 4. The D. Inherent skill, self-explanatory. Cost. 69 SP. 5. The Eye allows you to see any flaws in attack techniques for those weaker than you. Cost 2500 SP. 6. Zoom allows you to concentrate your vision hundreds of meters away. Cost. 800 SP. Like Hawkeye could track Luffy across Marineford Bay with his eyes. 7. God of War inherent skill, for every enemy you defeat, you gain some stamina in return. Cost. 5000 SP. Inherent skills are locked bloodline abilities passed down from either parent or a certain ancestor. Items available for purchase. 1. Birth control pill generator cost. 690 SP. 2. Item refiner refines any single item to its utmost potential. Cost. 1000 SP each. 3. Fruit dial store 5 charges of a passive type paramesha ability. Cost. 2000 SP. 4. Axe dial, breath dial, flame dial, flash dial, flavor dial, heat dial, impact dial, jet dial, lamp dial, reject dial, tone dial, vision dial, water dial, thunder dial, 500 SP each. 5. Black cat summons a black cat which can bestow -500 luck on any individual. Cost. 666 SP. 6. Oh hell no, a pill that will cause permanent erectile dysfunction. Cost. 13 SP. 7. Tell me more can be used to find a historical poneglyph. Cost. 2200 SP. System add-ons. 1. Basic built-in features map, store, quest log, etc. 2. Fruit finder added. 3. Summarizer displays the top events that occurred within a specified timeframe, 20-year cap. Cost. 500 SP. 4. Professor can solve any mathematical equation. Cost. 50 SP. 5. Seismic scaler can measure the seismic activity in a region. Cost. 650 SP. Holy hell, that's a lot of stuff. Let's see now. I glanced through the list. Sybil, why is there a hentai protagonist skill in here? I asked as I saw the first list. It's a skill passed down your in-world lineage. The members of the D clan have this within their genes but have weakened over the years. This skill will fully awaken that ability. She said in a sneering tone. As for God of War, I have no clue. That aside, all those abilities listed are quite useful, especially the last one as it saves stamina from the numerous fodder I may encounter. As for the items, some are useful, some are very useful, but I will buy them when I need them. System add-ons. Summarizer could be useful if I go under the radar in the future. As for the others, Alright Sybil, buy me all the available skills and add-ons. I asked. 1 second. 7 skills have and 3 add-ons have been purchased for 14,069 SP. Remains balance. 74031 SP. At the sound of the notification, I feel a few changes. My eyes felt like I had an extra layer on them, one that I could control. I looked far and saw a very slight silhouette of an island and concentrated my vision on it. Zoom activated. And lo and behold, I could now perfectly see the smallest of details, even the creases of the trees to the caterpillars on the leaves. Pull every evolvable skill up next. I ordered my system. Alright. Remember the cost of an evolution is 5x the previous, the first evolution being 1000 SP. Disease immunity can be evolved to pathogen independence for 1000 SP. Pathogen independence can be evolved to complete immunity for 5000 SP. Rapid regeneration can be evolved to lightning recovery for 1000 SP. Lightning recovery can be evolved to flash recovery for 5000 SP. Superhuman vitality can be evolved to Titan vitality for 5000 SP. Rokushiki can be individually evolved. 1000 SP for each style. Ancient voice can be evolved to its next stage for an evolutionary relic. List each evolved ability's description please. I request her. Pathogen independence destroys any type of pathogen that enters your body. Complete immunity grants immunity to all sicknesses, poisons, venoms, aphrodisiacs, toxins, viruses, plagues, bacteria and mind-affecting skills. Lightning recovery, all injuries heal at a great speed. Limbs that have been cut off can be reconnected. Fatal injuries can be healed. Broken bones will mend quickly. Overall cellular regeneration has reached absurd levels. Flash recovery, all injuries heal at an incredible speed. Limbs that have been cut off can be reconnected and regrown over time. Fatal injuries can be healed. Broken bones will mend swiftly. Overall cellular regeneration has reached nigh instant levels. Titan vitality affects physical output and internal input. Physical strength, physical stamina and sexual stamina have all reached beyond superhuman standards. Makes the skin hard as iron, hair tough as a metal cable, nails sharp as a blade, bones as solid as steel. Star added effect. Your bones are strong enough to imbue armament hockey to the point of turning into black bones. All 6 basic Rokushiki can be evolved to higher levels. Ancient voice 2 lol no word count steal here, go back a few chapters. Looking over the numerous skills, I couldn't help but smirk. Sybil, how would my endurance and regeneration be compared to peak Kaido? I asked. According to my calculations and considering the scenes shown in the anime from your memory, Kaido's vitality will reach the final stage of the increased vitality series. Your upgrade would get you to the second last stage, so you will still be behind. As for regeneration, you will match him. Kaido's physique gives him his invulnerability, to the point that even falling from 10,000 meters barely hurts him, but that does not mean his regeneration is that high. He should be at the flash recovery stage by his peak. She concluded. I nodded in understanding, though I found it quite funny that I have started to use Kaido as a unit of measurement. I then look at an odd addition. Oi, what's the added effect thing from the Titan vitality? I asked incredulously. Just like you can permanently imbue swords with armament hockey to the point they become black blades, your bones have reached the required density level to become black bones. She said, causing my eyes to widen. It won't be instant, but if you practice it over a handful of months, you should be able to reach that stage. That is crazy. I thought. This also means that my bones are tough enough to clash with great-grade swords like Shisui. Kimimaro ought to be jealous. Tell me about the evolved Rokushiki. I said in my head. It's easier to show it. With that, another blue screen opened in my head. Each of the 6 can be evolved. Shave, greater than, flash step, increased speed 2x that of, Soru. Iron body, greater than, titanium body, increased defense 1.5x that of, Tekai. Paper draw, greater than, superior instincts, increased fluidity 1.5x that of, Kami E. Air bullet, greater than, air gun, increased penetrative force 1.5x that of, Shigen. Moonwalk, greater than, moonrun, Decreased stamina usage 3x that of Geppo. Tempest Kick. Greater than Tempest Arc. Increased damage 2x that of Rankyaku. The upgrades were quite useful. The thing with Soru was that it could only be trained to a certain level, then cap off. So any Vice Admiral level Marine person could have equal speed as I, making it not as useful. And now that the speed has doubled, it ought to be quite fast. Alright, Sybil, upgrade every skill I just talked about. I finished my order as a sound beeped in my head. 12 abilities have been evolved. Remaining balance, 51031 SP. At that instant, I felt very, very odd. I could literally feel a weird heaviness around my bones and body. As if they were growing thicker and tougher by the second, I felt added weight all over as my other parts also got denser. I felt full of energy, that of all kinds. My vocal cords felt warmer than ever before. I could tell that my voice had also improved. Another thing was my eye level changed. In other words, I got taller as my body increased in practically every aspect. I was at least 2 inches taller than before. Heck, even my boat bubbled up and down a bit due to the change in mass. After all, when you double in area, you triple in volume. List my complete status page now. I asked. Ina D. Damien. Age. 15 and 5/6. Height. 9 feet 8. Status. Extremely healthy, overflowing with energy. Bloodline. Fishman-human hybrid. Strength. Quasi-Yonko. Damien equals Luffy, second defeat against Kaido. Devil Fruit. Pulverize fruit, low advanced mastery. Seastone resistance. 99%. Skills. Complete immunity, flash recovery, max, Titan vitality, max, ancient voice 2, persona, max, fruit sensor, max, concentrated breathing, constant, underwater maneuverability. 6 superior arts, grand imagination, zoom, the eye, the D, god of war, parallel thinking, passive sleep mode, observation hockey, low advanced mastery, armament hockey, peak intermediate mastery, conqueror's hockey, controlled stage, low advanced level. Points balance. 51031 SP. Some abilities might be evolved further but his body is not ready for it yet. Wow indeed. I smirked as I glanced over the skills. My strength had now reached the peak of quasi-Yonko as well. Yet it felt like hitting a wall. A mountain. I could easily sense that it would take quite a bit to enter the realm of a Yonko. In other words, improving my fruit mastery or hockey would work. Bodily upgrades won't be enough. I would learn Ryu soon. As for infusing my conqueror's hockey, that is still a ways away. Fruit mastery was almost at the next sub-level after killing Enigma. Over the past 3 weeks on the Titanic, naturally, I had been working on it. What were the next steps in my fruit? The second form in which I could fully release my fruit powers as I did at Encephala Island against Enigma. I tried it over the past few weeks and had learned how to do it, but I wanted a bit more. It was far too raw. I was trying to mix my armament hockey with it so that it would work in unison and have almost gotten to that point, yet lacked a certain understanding to attain it. Perhaps once I reach advanced mastery for it. That aside, the advanced fruit mastery level. Every level of mastery increase gives a specific added ability. Basic mastery. Pulverize matter down to 3 inches. Use vague concepts of crushing. Gaseous form of pulverization. Intermediate mastery. Pulverize matter down to a 0.8 mm. Greater control over your powers, not restricting but rather guiding the power. Restore the crushed matter to its original appearance. Gaseous and liquid form of pulverization. Advanced mastery. Pulverize matters down to 0.1 mm. Full control over the flow of crushing energy, no net loss while guiding power. Restore the crushed matter to its original appearance. Restore living things back to their original form. Gaseous, liquid and solid form of pulverization. Full unawakened fruit release form. Of course the stage after advanced would be the awakened stage, aka the grandmastery stage, but that will take a while. So far I used gaseous pulverization to create my devoured space. The liquid portion is the one that flows through my body and I am learning how to not waste a single gram of it. I can now use the solid form as well. As in, I can make literal weapons and items out of pulverization. That said, I still want to see if I can get a proper weapon that works with my powers while I use this as a substitute. As for the formed weapons, they're quite neat. Instead of destroying everything around it, they will instead store the crushing power until I want it to activate upon the impact of an obstruction or enemy. I can now make timed bombs of sorts, which brings back some good memories. As for restoring living things, I had experimented a bit with it by using a brave fish. It worked. To a point. I crushed it to 2-inch cubes, insta-killing the fish. I then concentrated on the threads of pulverization and brought them back together. And voila! The exact fish from before. But it was lacking something. The soul of the fish. I restored the body, but the soul died, leaving behind a beating heart and warm, empty vessel. It needs more experimenting but might have some interesting uses. But the real thing is something else. Over the 3 weeks, apart from the full fruit release, I have also created a new ability. I noticed during my raid on Encephala Island that I was missing something. And that was the range. My Shigan could only do so much. I wanted to make sure I don't have some big openings like that. As of now, Basara can create a constant mountain around me and have attacks rain down from above, and I won't be able to do a thing about them. Most of my attacks required my enemies to be close, so I made a new attack. Not only does it easily kill enemies, but can be used over huge ranges and has a rather cool effect associated with it. It was inspired by a certain DC villain and is something I'm looking forward to testing out on some unlucky Marines. Chapter 54. The Island of Nea, Paradise Sea. Nea was an island in the Paradise Sea, closer to the reverse mountain but in it nonetheless. It was called the Island of Infinite Words as it was home to the majority of aspiring reporters over the world. And these people were very ambitious in their field. Their dedication to spreading news was as resolute as the citizens of O'Hara were to studying history. The island was well developed. Stone homes, big houses, solid roads, tens of thousands of citizens and tall towers. Yan. Within a well-furnished room in a hotel was a young man with black hair and red streaks running down the side of his head. He has just woken up from a rather eventful night. On his side were 4 MILF beauties, blissfully sleeping. Damien Pav. That was a rather explosive night. I didn't expect to feel so pent up. You could have told me about that, Sybil. I complain in my head as I stretch. It was written as you upgraded the skill. Titan Vitality boosts your entire body instantly, which includes weight, height, bone mass, skeleton structure, skin thickness, joint flexibility, muscular strength and endurance and physical stamina. It is only fitting that your hormones would go into a frenzy. So pretty much, you have a 16-year-old teen who just got a huge boost in vitality, and naturally, these series of events caused a bit of a problem. A different world or not, hormones are hormones. I guess with the stress building up from the change in lifestyle, constant training and skill upgrade, it had filled up my storage. It wasn't my first time, in my entire existence that is. Back on Earth, I simply couldn't kill myself while being a virgin. A virgin at 16. How truly pitiful. How pathetic it would be to die without losing your virginity. So I went to some open girls at school and that was that. Now he's just showing off. Moving on, I had just docked last night and stored my boat when I found a herd of 4 MILFs winking from the side, and naturally, seeing their loneliness, I did what a man would do and filled in for their husbands. Back to the present, I am now up and getting ready to depart. My body has acclimated to the new vitality, so this episode should no longer occur. But that aside, I guess I have gotten quite a bit more handsome as I go through my growth spurt, must have been from mom. I nod to myself as I appreciate my visage. Time to find my little Pakov, my future business partner. Persona activate. Seme Kikan. Both abilities activated at once gave me a nigh-perfect disguise. With Persona, I was able to shift my entire physical aspect to that of someone else. This included heart rate, breathing rate, shadow casting, demeanor, and so on. This can, however, be seen through anyone with superior observation hockey, so I used another precaution. Using Seme Kikan allowed me to genetically change my body, which includes slowing my metabolism, healing rate and thought processes. It would be odd for an average citizen to have such absurd abilities. With this, only if someone wholly focused their observation on me will my identity be leaked. Of course, they would need to be Yonko level 2. This may seem a bit much, but with a bounty of 1.6 billion berries and the government's desire to capture me, it is always a good idea to work in the shadows. A 10-foot tall, Handsome youth with distinct eyes and hair color is not exactly the best cover either. That being said, I am now a black-haired 25 years old man with matching eyes and 2 meters in height, a midget for sure. Creek. I greet the Great One. It was a small green salamander that had jumped down from a roof and landed on my shoulder. You have eyes on the bird, kid? I asked. Yes, please follow me. 10 minutes later. I had walked to a broken down building as I saw the cracked stone, overgrowing moss and rusty metal. The salamander led me here to find the little albatross. Quite the place for a future emperor of the underworld. I think as I walk into the home. Creak. The olden door groans as it threatens to fall off its hinges as I look around. Simple furniture, dirt, dust, and very messy. Notes, papers, posters, magazines. All types of paper flying around, some stacked on the side, some lying on the table, some wrinkling from liquid spills. Rustle scratch. I hear sounds of writing from the room through the hall as I sense a small presence. Step. Walking forth I see a small room. The smell of ink, the dusty halls. A dull room lit by a dirty window, bringing a small beam of light in. And at the side was what I came for. It was a young humanoid albatross, around 13 years of age. His body is covered in white feathers, and he has a large tail and wings that resemble human arms. Small eyes and a wide beak. The human-bird hybrid stood around 7.5 feet in height, though currently he was fully focused on his writing. Ahem. Quote. He didn't even hear it. Ahem. Huh. Who are you? The boy squawked as some feathers fell out of his arms. He took a defensive pose as he curled his wings into fists. Just so you know, I know how to rustle. He threatened as he seemed ready to rumble. Oh, well you see, I didn't come here to fight you, Morgans, I said with an eloquent tone. How do you know my name? What do you want? He asked as he squinted his eyes. Though I could tell he was running hundreds of thoughts in his head as he studied my appearance. There's no point in thinking so much. This appearance is only for show. I said as I sat on the old couch by the side. The thick smell of ink assaulted my nose as I stared at the bird. Morgan slowly lowered his arms as he hummed. This appearance? He asked, wondering what I meant. Persona release. Say make Keegan revert. The cracking of bones enlarging and the groan of the sofa from the added weight resounded the room as my body shifted back to its true appearance. The black hair grew thicker and the left side turned red. The black eyes shined crimson as the body grew to 9 feet 8 in size. The simple clothes changed to regal robes, fit for a count. Why you are, he muttered as he slowly backed away to the corner. Rustle. Morgans divided his wing arm into a cabinet and emptied it on the dirty floor, the dust spreading everywhere in the process. I saw thousands of wanted posters of people from all around the world. Sin incarnate, Damien. He confirmed his thoughts as he compared my face with the poster. It seems you know of me. I said in an inquisitive tone. I suppose the news was quite recent of my adventures. Know of you. Kawahahaha. Of course. You are big news. Your crew is big news. Your feats are big news. Your powers are big news. You are big news. He squawked in an excited voice. I tilt my head to the side and ask, you aren't afraid of me? They call me the incarnation of sin for a reason. Kuwahahaha. How can a true reporter be afraid of the pirates? Say, can I interview you? He asked as he swiped a pen and paper from the side and looked at me with an enthusiastic tone. Rahahahaha. You are quite an interesting one, you know. Instead of asking why I broke into your house, you rather interview me with such exuberance. I chuckle at his reactions. Oh right. A pirate with a bounty of over 1.6 billion berries in my home. It is odd, right? But who cares about the details? He said. Say, can you tell me about your captain or how you have 2 powers? Or how you can change your appearance? Well before all that, let me enlighten you on my desire to seek you. You see, I have been looking for a reporter. Someone young, yet bold. Cunning, yet careful. Honest, yet knowing when to bend. But most of all, someone who is willing to do whatever he can to spread the stories, regardless of the consequences. I finish as I squint my eyes at the young bird. The albatross's eyes widen as I go on with my words, each syllable ringing in his mind. You want to open a news agency? He loudly questioned. He is quite clever indeed. I note as I see him connect the dot. That's right. You see, the world government is intent on using my captain's crew to their advantage. To use our scary feats to bend the world's eyes to their level of satisfaction. They will conceal, delay, fabricate whatever it takes to ensure the ears of the people only hear what they want to be told. I then smirk. I do not doubt that in a decade the Rock's pirates will be erased from history. What do you think about that, Morgans? He blinked a few times then grew annoyed. Bury the Rock's pirates. How unsightly. This is an obstruction of knowledge. I cannot allow that. He squawked. Hee, I thought so. My other crewmates don't care for such things but I think otherwise. I want to spread the truth, and I need a young and bold partner to help me. I throw the bait. His eyes light up as I speak the words of wisdom. I agree with your views. But how can I help? I haven't even published an article yet. He asked, perturbed. The World News Agency is run by 4 directors and is under their full control. They just choose to align with the government. As long as 3 of them wish for liberation, the government must concur, I explained. But would those directors even do that? He asked. Rahaha. They will. Soon enough at least. Just leave that to me. 1 year is all it should take for them to decide to withdraw from the world government's grasp. That aside, the government won't just allow that, out of the legal sense of course. They already have cipher pole monitoring the agency. The moment things go south, the dogs of the government will strike. I continue. Which is why the withdrawal must happen abruptly and spontaneously. As for you, well, let's just say that I have a good feeling about you so I hope you grow up and take over the entire agency. I conclude. Morgans thought for a second then answered. But for that, I would need to be in the agency to even be considered for such a position, he droned. I smirk at his concert then call out to the window. Come. Chirp. A small brown sparrow flew down and landed on my finger. This is Rowan. She will bring you news from all over the seas every single day. If you have the talent I desire, then I'm sure you can make it work. I smiled. Morgan stumbled as he stared at the bird. As long as it is accurate then I can of course make a name for myself in the news world. He jolted up. Hee, don't worry, my information chain is probably the greatest on the seas. I said in a mysterious tone. It's true though, I have sparrows, crows, ravens, and many other birds spread across all the seas, collecting information by the thousands, organizing them and readying them for me. Amazing. Big news. I can do it. He clapped his wings excitedly. He is a lot more compliant than I thought. Perhaps my ancient voice has a hand in this. I wondered. After all, it gave me the ability to have Zoan's users be far more amenable than they should. Plus, I also used a bit of influence in my voice for precaution. Recall that after his ability evolution, his voice can influence the minds of others without their knowledge of it ever happening. With that done, I tasked the young albatross to start publishing his work for which I would provide the source. Juicy content as soon as it happened, it shouldn't take too long before they notice him and recruit him. I had given him a year to climb through the ranks, sounds a bit crazy but it should be alright. Now I need to influence the 4 directors and leave a thought in their mind. That will eventually cause them to want to exit out of the government's grasp. This single thought will slowly balloon until it becomes the one thing they are constantly thinking about. Eventually, the topic will be brought up and passed. My scheming came to an abrupt end due to a voice in my head. Damien, a world-level quest and an Operation Nexus have been updated. Sybil informed. Chapter 55. An update for my world-level quest. I wondered. Pull it up. Operation Nexus has been updated. Find the World News Agency main base check mark. Find replacement president check mark. Bring the replacement under your control check mark. Have the agency exit the world government's grasp cross mark. Time limit 1486. Then a mechanical voice ensued. The quest, Path to Power, has been updated. Sybil is the AI of the system but the notifications still ring with an automatic voice. Path to Power, quest given by the Supreme Lord, Nanabane Sama, specifically for you. You are to overthrow the powers of this world and reach the apex of all beings belonging to this realm. This cannot be done alone, you are to gather a total of 7 to stand beside you. 7 there shall be, no more, no less. Upon completion, you shall be granted a grand reward. Warning main crew template is now available. A template. Expand on this, Sybil. I ask her. Bop. A crew template is now available as you have officially gained an associate level personnel. Congratulations. What is all this? I hummed as it opened further. Unnamed crew. Crew strength. Crew potential. Infinity due to having a system wielder. Core index. Associate index. Subordinate index. I was a bit stumped with this, so I just expanded each option further. Unnamed crew. Core index down arrow. Description. This displays the main members of your crew. Adhering to the Supreme One's wishes, 7 spots are available. All members gain blessings from the Supreme One. Follows. Name, position. 1. Ina D. Damien Captain. 2. Vacant. 3. Vacant. 4. Vacant. 5. Vacant. 6. Vacant. 7. Vacant. Associate index down arrow. Description. Beyond the scale of core members are the associates, who may work for you, work with you, or support you in a specific way. Anyone associated with you will gain varying blessings. 1. Morgan's warning. Subordinate index down arrow. Description. The following quantifies your true strength in terms of subordinate power. Yonko level pirates. O. Yonko commander level pirates. 1. Yonko crew level pirates. O. Fodders. 1. Total pirate count. 2. Fleets. O. Divisions. O. Crew strength. Crew potential. Infinity. Well damn. I exclaim as I read over all the text. So it was like a full-on summary of my crew and whatnot. I guess, recruiting, Morgan's caused a chain of reactions. Indeed, as he has joined under your words, he has officially been listed as an associate, unlocking this menu. Sybil explained. You needn't think too much, it will just help you better understand your crew more. I nodded, then asked, tell me about the difference between core members and associates. Core members are those who will stand side by side with you and fully accompany you to wherever you so desire. The associates are under you, but won't necessarily always be present on your ship. That does not mean that they can't be with you, but instead they may have responsibilities outside that of the ship. But again, they could be your partners, your allies, or your subordinates. They are in your crew but below the status of a main member. The real difference comes with the blessings from the Supreme One. Core members gain increased mental endurance, increased thinking speed, increased fortune, decreased karmic backlash, increased talent, etc. Associates will only gain minor blessings, perhaps preventing minor accidents or limiting losses from them. She concludes. From what I could understand, the core members, or like Luffy's crew, and the associates can be like his Grand Fleet or allies such as Kuja Pirates, Revolutionary Army, Fishman Island and whatnot. So, what's up with the alert beside Morgan's name? I asked. You can choose a tag for your associate based on how you interpret them to be. Each affects the blessings bestowed upon them. She said. Show me all the tags then. I ask. Available tags. Ally. Informant. Lover. Business partner. Worker, cooks, cleaners, etc. Division commander. Torturer. Slave. Secretary. Sex toy. Well, the list went on and on as it went broader and broader. The only reason to list any more would be for word count, but we don't do that here. Alright Sybil, though you have some questionable tags here, I want to list Morgan's as business partner and informant. I ordered. Done. Associate, Morgan's is now tagged as a business partner and an informant. Morgan's fortune has been raised by 20%. Overall talent has been raised by 10%. Karmic backlash has been reduced by 6%. Task efficiency has been increased by 35%. Well, she did say at the start that being in my crew and continuing with the quest would bring certain perks and privileges. I viewed the updated template and nodded in satisfaction. Tell me about the crew strength and crew potential. The strength of the crew is based on many factors of the core index. Some being total strength, crew chemistry, coefficient of synergy, broadness of ability, weaknesses or flaws, coefficient of talent, mental capabilities, coefficient of hockey usage. These factors are then compared to the strength of the world government, scaled out of 100. She concludes. Remember that the Navy is under the WG. Which is why the fleet admiral has to obey the Gorosei. I guess it's like those FIFA games where your team is rated on some algorithm and whatnot, cool. As for the potential of the crew, it factors in what height your core members can reach. It is also the value out of 100 that your strength can reach. Since you are a system user, you have infinite potential, making you an outlier. Can you apply these to the current Rocks crew? Sure. Rocks Pirates. Crew strength. 84 100ths. Crew potential. 110 100ths. Core index. Associate index. Subordinate index. I subconsciously raised an eyebrow as I felt something afoot. Sybil spoke up before I could voice anything though. Your current crew strength is 84 100ths. It may have a handful of Yonko-level pirates but that's about it. The few thousand under the crew are weak and lacking in trust for each other. Of course, from your memories, I can estimate that this number will increase soon. Again, these are compared to what the Navy and world government are capable of. So if your captain were to wage war against Marineford, your crew could hold off 84% of them, in a numerical sense. The strength is a ratio of the crew in question, world GOAT. Potential is the max ratio they can reach if all members were at their prime strength. So, if the Rocks crew reaches its absolute max level based on my memories, it can go even beyond the entire Marine force. I exclaimed, but then understood why. If Whitebeard and Shaki can single-handedly wreak havoc over Marineford, then the Rocks crew can surely go beyond them if they were allowed to reach prime strength. Another ANWB pirates held back Marineford. That includes the 3 admirals, Fleet Admiral, 100k Marines and all, but that isn't all they have. Kong wasn't there, CP0 wasn't there, the hidden powers under the Gorosei, the elders themselves, etc. The numbers are scaled against the entire world government, not just the Navy. This entire crew menu is quite useful but I don't need it now. I thought as I collapsed the screen in my mind. I now have Morgans under me, it's time to continue. I need to corrupt the 4 directors ASAP. I could go straight there but there is one thing I want to get before that. I should go get that before heading to the agency HQ. Bring me, Toby. I command a nearby bird. 2 minutes later. Shrill cry. Flapping feather. Cack cack. You called, Great One? He asked. This was Toby, the leader of the Falcon Division, the fastest squad I have for surveillance. Toby had pristine black feathers with red streaks that looked like clouds. One of his eyes was red due to an injury that causes blood to leak behind his retina, forever dyeing it crimson. Where is the one who ate the fruit I told you about? He is traveling in the West Blue, 3 days away, he informed me. Very good. Led me there. Wiles, an island in the West Blue. Wiles was a unique island. It used to be a flourishing forested area with joyful residents. They were originally doing great, they paid the heavenly tribute, they attended the reverie, they even had a marine branch stationed here. But that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. A man named Bobbias Zuko, the user of the flint fruit and captain of the Fire Nation pirates came. The man covertly attacked and took over the kingdom, expelling all the joy and happiness away. The Marines did not send any support as the heavenly tribute was still being paid in full by the usurper. That happened 69 years ago, now the Wiles kingdom has utterly collapsed, the tribute was lost and officially abandoned by the world government. Leaving behind an island ripe for piracy. For 7 decades, the main population is gone and now is ruled by the mafia families of the North Blue. Recently a new pirate has arrived who is working under one of the 5 families of the West, he has made quite the name for himself in this sea. He is Gemini Franz of the Gabino mafia family. Why is he special? He ate a devil fruit. The occurrence of devil fruits was quite rare in the exterior seas, they were so rare that they were thought to be from folklore and tales. An ability granted by eating a devil fruit was an easy way to rule the outer seas. Gemini Franz ate a fruit that allowed him to literally split apart into copies of himself. They called him Franz the Divider, as he on his own was able to destroy an opposing family with this exact power. He is now feared with an enormous and fear-inducing bounty of 17 million berries. Wiles, Outer Port. Franz Sama. We have gathered 3,000 soldiers to take over this island. The Gambino family will soon overtake the others and rule the West Blue all alone. A man said. Frazazaza. That's right, fodder. Once we take over this island we can recruit the other thousands here and finally defeat that old Hoot Capone Geeb. Franz laughed. Franz was a 7-foot-tall, 38-year-old man with spiky red hair and brown skin. With the help of his advisor, Fodder, his right-hand man, he arrives with 3,000 men to further the rule of his family. Though unknown to them, they were already in the eyes of a coming storm, one that would be their undoing. 3 days later. Frazazazaza. Franz the Divider now stood on top of a large platform before a large bay of sea before him. Floating before him were over 40 ships filled with pirates, mafia executives and their soldiers, and hundreds of contracted criminals. With his supreme ability, Franz was able to bring the thousands of friends on wiles under him. He now reigned over 8,000 men of the West Blue. If it weren't for his terrible luck, he would certainly have the largest fleet in the western waters. My brothers. The time has come. We shall take over the entire West Blue soon enough. After that, we shall sail on to the Grand Line and reap all their treasures too. And soon enough, to conquer the entire Grand Line. He declared with great vigor. OOOUUGH. YEAAAAAAH. OUUGHHHH. Re. YOOOSH. The 8,000 men roared as their sheer excitement shook the island itself. Frazazazaza. Good. Very goo, his words were cut off. He looked to the far, far east of the bay, beyond the fleet of ships and saw a silhouette. Fodder, pass me the telescope. He said. The 8,000 pirates were still in a frenzy, thinking about the great treasures and their great crusade, caring little for such small activities. What is that? Franz thought as he zoomed into the black dot far beyond. He saw a weirdly shaped craft, moving towards the Wiles Bay. The image was getting clearer and clearer. It was moving fast. Very fast. A ship. He wondered as he finally saw its full shape. It was a brown-colored boat with a rectangle body and a triangular head. It was odd yet beautiful on its own. The odd thing was the lack of sails. How can it go so fast without any sails? Franz questioned as he saw the only passenger. A youth. Frazazaza. This ship will make a great addition to my fleet. He cackled away. The oncoming craft showed no signs of stopping as it was around 2 kilometers from the Bay of Wiles. The Divider just grinned as he continued to envision himself riding the sea skimmer, leading his thunderous fleet through the chaotic seas beyond. Author's Corner. Cough. The split fruit that he was going for has been eaten by some dude. The ability itself practically splits the body into clones, an ability which will be very useful to MC soon enough. If you like this video, please like, comment, share and most importantly subscribe. Also click on notification bell and set it on all.